Hey everybody, it's Gordon. Welcome to the bench. Tonight we're talking about Stanley Rosewood totes, and we're getting into the little ones this week, and we have some number 2s and a number 1. And one of the things that I ask for when we get into the little ones, where the shape varies a little bit from type to type, is that you include the original hardware, right? So we want that barrel nut and the rod, and if you'll stick around, I'll tell you why. So when we get into the little numbers, the Stanley number 1, the number 2 and 3, the fit for that primary rod and the barrel nut is very important, and there's not a lot of real estate here, so it's very specific angle, and we want to make sure that we don't have any obstructions in there. So there's 2 reasons that I'm asking for the hardware. One is if we're doing a horn like I am with this one, the barrel nut will give us the proper height, and it kind of sets the tone because the counter bore is already established. Put the barrel nut in, and then once we shape the new horn, we'll just bring it down so that it's flush, and then I'll test it by taking a number 2 or one of my own planes and making sure that we've got the height right. So that's one reason. The second reason is just to make sure that there aren't any issues. You get just a little bit of rattle. This is a number 3. And when we put things together, it should drop in real clean. You should have the height right. You should have just a little bit of movement down here to make sure that we can mount this properly. So here we are with our customer's number 2. And I was taking a look at the brake. Actually, it's a later model Rosewood tote. So it's going to be a really fun repair. And as I started to try and line it up, I just couldn't get it to seat where I wanted to. And I realized that the rod itself is causing some conflict. So immediately, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but right away, as soon as I pulled this apart, I can tell this is shaped kind of like a lasagna noodle. So we're gonna push this guy back out, and sure enough, this rod it's pointing in 3 different directions, all at the same time. So we're gonna have to straighten him out. Now, there's amazing parts people out there, one in particular, that we all love and know. And I put a link in the video here. If you're taking the short route and you want to just call MJ, he can ship this to you if he knows the length, right? It'll be the proper threads, and it'll be vintage, of course, and it'll fit right back in your original barrel nut, and you're good to go. Because I have some broken plane parts, and actually when I'm shaping Rosewood totes, I use part of a number 5, and I mount him like this. It's kind of my pseudo work holding device, I guess. You can't take a threaded rod like this and squeeze it in your vise. You're going to mash the threads. And because they're usually inserted in the plane or in the front, up in the toe, when they're bent, that's where the bend is. So it's in that little area that's all threaded. So if you mark it with a Sharpie or put some kind of indicator on it, put it back in, you can kind of bend it back into shape. And that's really all I'm doing. I work as much by hand as possible. I try not to, I'm not putting this in an arbor press. I'm not beating on it with a hammer, or putting it in my vise and thumping on it. It's just a matter of a little bit of finesse and a little bit of patience, and you can make it happen. So I wouldn't use a good plane. If you have a nice 5 or whatever your plane is, don't take your furniture off and try and use it as a work holding device. I'm using parts of planes or sacrificial things that I can always replace. And then when it comes to the main body of this threaded rod, again, I'm just capture it in the corner of my vise and kind of bend on it a little bit. And again, I'm using a Sharpie to guide me along the way. So it's possible if you want to do it. Okay, so we spent a few minutes tweaking. I just drew little lines and dots on it to kind of give me an idea as I sighted this by eye. I'm not using anything super precise other than a precision parallel to give me an idea on my straightness. And then if you just kind of roll it in your fingers, you can tell that it's not the the noodle that it once was. In fact, it'll probably, let's set him on here and see what happens. Yay, it rolls away. That's a good thing. So I think we're in really good shape. So there you have it. If you have the patience and time, do that. And earlier I said there's a really good resource out there, MJ, and Just Plain Fun, and he has what you need. So if you want to go right to Rosewood and spare yourself the time, get with MJ and he'll take care of you. But let's see where we are now. That's what we want, right? Look at that. And just a little bit of movement, that's what we need. So folks, we are good with the hardware. On to the Rosewood repair. I'm going to call this a wrap, and we'll shoot another video for the number 2 fix. Thanks for watching.